So today we have a new Dailymaru episode. Now in today's video I will be talking about the same topic as the last one, but just being more open about my thoughts and opinions. Right. So for those who may or may not know, we recently got a leak a couple hours ago saying that March is currently being made in mind with being an HP scaling sub DPS for Cassie. And we've actually known this for a while. However, it wasn't, completely reliable. But now we got it from another more reliable leaker. So it's almost guaranteed, especially with March's and Dan Heng's beta being only 2 weeks away, right? So this means Cassie may be getting a new premium teammate upgrade to her team comp. And a lot of people are skeptical about this. However, I'm not. If you look at Phenon, he got way better treatment than Cassie did team-wise. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think Cassie has the overall better kit than Phenon, of course. However, currently, Cassie is just weaker compared to Phenon at his peak performance, right? And the main reason for this is that the only designated support Cassie has with perfect synergy is Hyacine. Tribby does not have perfect synergy, and neither does RMC. For one, Tribby gives res pen, which, guess what? Cassie already gives herself 20% res pen when she summons the dragon, right? Or what about vulnerability? Well, if you have Hyacine with her Lycone, this vulnerability amp isn't as good as it looks, and it goes from 30% overall amp to probably down to 25% around there, right? So both the buffs that Tribby gives in a best-in-slot Cassie team end up being just slightly weaker than they should be. Add on top of this that the only real value she has for Cassie is her high HP. It's pretty easy to replace her with any new remembrance character. And this is what could happen with March. However, the more I think about it and the more I reflect on it, I do think it's more likely March replaces RMC than she replaces, what's it called? Tribby. Right. At least for now. The reason being, RMC, he gives Cassie 36% true damage, plus some crit damage, and of course we all know it, the action advance. However, this really isn't all that crazy. Tribby's overall buffing capability, even if it's being slightly nerfed because of it being slightly diluted, it's still better in terms of overall amp, and on top of this, because she can abuse DDD, and because the buffs apply to everyone on the team, I could very easily see March replacing RMC instead of replacing Tribby for now. However, what I am worried for about Tribby, at least in a Cassie team, is Cyrene, right? If Cyrene does work with Cassie, Tribby is guaranteed to be kicked out of that team. One, she gives true damage, which no one else gives in any Cassie team, so it's completely undiluted. It is free, right? So if, let's say, Cyrene gave 50% true damage without any bullshit requirements, then this means everybody on the team would just straight up do 50% more overall damage, which I do believe ends up being larger than Tribby's current amp, and that's not even including the second buff that every single team buffer has alongside their main one. So very good chance, even just amping wise, that Cyrene kicks Tribby's ass. However, alongside this, you also have the fact that it's leaked, she has enhanced basic attacks, so she's likely a sub DPS support, the same as every other Ampho support that we've had so far. So likely sub DPS capability that I would not be surprised if it was better than Tribby's. And lastly, she's made for March, and March specifically wants a mono remembrance team, and it's been leaked over and over again that March hypercarry is ass unless you have Cyrene. So this does kinda imply that Cyrene may have her second buff, or at least one of her buffs, dependent on how many memo sprites or total characters are on field. So, a Cassie Mono Remembrance team would look like Cassie main DPS, March sub DPS, Cyrene support, and Hyacine sustain, right? So, you could do that, and maybe that could take both March and Cyrene to new heights, since March wants a Mono Remembrance team, right? The potential a Cassie team has right now is incredibly high with this new leak, right? And I'm truly interested, very interested in how she may perform upcoming with March, or how March, may be able to change things around. Will Cyrene work with her? Truly, there's no one I'm more interested in currently, right? Phanon, he kinda already let me down, or at least I wouldn't say Phanon let me down, but Ceredra let me down, right? Ceredra, even though she has really good synergy with Phanon because of the unique meteor gimmick, that's it, right? Unfortunately, she didn't get, the greatest of buffs. I know Don Hung, he's going to enable the Sunday synergy, probably transfer Sustainless Performance into Sustain. However, I still am, not as excited for Phanon anymore. However, the idea of Cassie getting new best-in-slot teammates that I wasn't fully confident she may actually get is huge. And this is something I've been saying for a while now. I just didn't know how much I believed in myself, because it's iffy, right? Casterus is already strong. I think we can all agree on this. Casterus is like second or third strongest DPS in the game, so a lot of people were questioning the possibility of her getting a new best-in-slot or two best-in-slot supports. However, I think as of current, it is 100% a possibility with this March leak and with Cyrene around the corner. Now, even if Cyrene doesn't work with Cassie, so long as March is like 15 to 20% better than RMC for the team, then Cassie should then be around the same level as I believe Phanon is currently. So I think that's fine, right? I'm not trying to get Tribby kicked out of Cassie's team, because Tribby's E1 is incredibly valuable, and I'd still pull it if Cyrene didn't end up working with Cassie, right? I'm just a little iffy on it, of course, now that we know March may work with her, and if Cyrene does somehow bypass the territory gimmick of only one existing and works on a Cass team, Cassie would obviously be buffed by this Mono Remembrance, all that good stuff, right? So let me know what you guys think about all this. I'm not really talking about my other accounts because there's nothing new. I've been farming relics constantly and getting absolutely nothing. It's been terrible on the other accounts. However, this new March leak has really made me excited for something I didn't give too much thought before. I really would like to see how Cassie performs going into the future. And yeah, love y'all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and peace out.